That's a nice chord. I like that G chord and the G scale. They feel very comfortable to me.
Yeah. So we're starting out with just a really basic level, improvising in a duet between the bass and the piano. And the bass and the piano have a lot of ground in common in terms of the notes, so it can be a really powerful thing to play together. And traditionally, it gives the piano player a nice break because the piano player, when there's no bass player, is usually playing only accompaniment because it has the range. But as soon as you have a bass involved, it frees up the piano player to think about playing the piano differently. So what are some of the ways you think about it differently?
Well, you're exactly right, Todd. With the left hand, usually I'm playing a G note in the bass, but he's taking care of that role now. So my left hand becomes a chord player, and I can just play a chord here. I'm going to use my beginner level closed chord of G, B, D, and then that frees up my right hand to explore simple melodies. And at first, I just was playing simple do, re, mi stuff. Just actually repeated the G itself a long time, so that it would help us really anchor to like what it's like we're building G train station before we leave the station, right?
Yeah.
So we really establish with your friend like that yeah, you run the same notes, you're in the same keys, and you can practice up your scale. We go sol la ti do, and make sure that you got the right notes visually ready to go for the trip.
Yeah, and at a beginner level with playing in a duo as a bass player, I'm thinking a lot about just sticking on the lowest G that I can play, because sound really works a lot the same way that gravity does in the universe. So like the sun is the heaviest thing in our solar system, and everything is spinning around it. And if the sun all of a sudden wasn't the heaviest thing anymore, every planet's rotation would change. Everything would change about the solar system. So I don't have to think about being super busy. It's just sort of, again, laying that foundation where our ears and everything are kind of centering around this idea. And I can play some different rhythms.
So we hear the G as if it's the sun, and the other planets would be like the other notes, the re, do, and the do, re, the re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. And so as the bass player is laying down the sun, it frees me up to I feel like I'm on a spaceship flying around to different planets in the solar system. So, and then at the end of usually at the beginning and ending of a beginner improv, you're gonna want to start on G, and you're gonna want to end on G, so that it's like you've come full circle.
Yeah,
back home.
And what we were largely doing is something called a soundscape, which is like painting a picture, but very abstract. So we might be painting with both hands and shapes and circles, and we're sort of coloring outside the lines. So you don't have to think too much about, do I know enough to be able to make music with another person? It's just a matter of making a sound and reacting and listening and expressing your feelings through sound. And that doesn't have to be all that complicated.